Morning, guys. Welcome back to the Ahn Rho Project. This is the psychiatric self-therapeutic multimedia project for me to solve the problems and challenges and obstacles in my life, as well as a self-improvement process for me to reach the heights, goals, and ambitions that I've set for myself and those around me. So, welcome back to the first of 3 live streams today, 15 minutes each, separated by a 10-minute gap, back-to-back live streams. Continuation off of a previous sub-series that is really an amalgamation or combination of multiple other sub-series I used to have. One named BDMP, standing for the basics of life management, survival, health, all that jazz. Another one was Aftermath, which focused on the past 4 months of absolute hell and chaos, from having to take care of severe illness for one of my guardians, as well as managing a side business that I just started, and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I combined those two with some other older sub-series of the Ahn Rho Project to create Task Kill Spree. So what you see is what you get. Take a look at the title, take a look on stream. On the side right here, on the bottom right hand corner, you have the names of the live streams that we're going to anticipate completing within the next hour or so, or 45 minutes, I'm assuming. But yeah, we're gonna just run through it, and what it really is a combination of just trying to knock off as much of the daily and actually higher priority tasks in life from all various domains of life. And if you are familiar with the Ahn Rho Project, which I'm pretty sure nobody is, alright, the Ahn Rho Project introduction and a very short snippet on a breakdown is broken down into sub-series, obviously different segments of your life. You may be focused on different activities, and then domains of life, which are finance, employment, and relationships, and so on and so forth. Blah-de-da, you can break them down into smaller variables and factors, and overall you probably have 250 different variables when you get down to the very bottom. Of course, the last one would be analogies. So we have subseries, domains, analogies, and analogies are just ways for me to communicate to you what the Ahn Rho Project is. I usually use analogies like it's a business, fundamentals applied to personal life, so shipping and receiving. We also like to use one really favorite analogy of mine is to take a gaming analogy and apply that to life as well, because life is kind of like a game. So those are some ways to look at it. And if I want to be direct with you, so if I take away the analogies and I just leave you with the bare bones, the concise summary, I've left a newly updated summary on my YouTube channel. I can't put on Facebook because it's too long, but long story short, comprehensive life management project, self-therapy, personal growth, and all that kind of jazz. For me to basically solve my personal insecurities, I cover the good, the bad, and the ugly, all the raw, honest stuff, subjecting myself to public scrutiny because, as stupid as it sounds, that is the best thing I can do that's the most fundamental and difficult challenge for anybody, to expose themselves to the billions worldwide of opinions and criticisms, and to humiliate and embarrass themselves, and then recreate and constantly, after thousands of iterations, become a better and better version of yourself. And if, the best part is right now nobody's watching, so constantly I am actually just not competing against the feedback of others, I'm actually rehearsing myself. So if anything, I'm my own worst enemy and constantly in this self-improvement process, trying to become a better version of myself compared to the previous day. And so that's the Ahn Rho Project synopsis, if I were to just take away the analogies and just leave it with exactly what it is. Why don't we get into the stuff that we have planned for today? It's really a continuation for what we have left off yesterday and the day beforehand. So where do we leave off? I just actually pulled out some screenshots from the side and in the middle. And so you can see it's a large list. I'm just going to run through it all. I've finally managed to change a lot of behavioral patterns of mine. The perfectionist kind of attitudes, trying to focus too much on the details. Well, we'll get to that because they're all listed here. And, it's going to be a bit of a tedious stream, but, hopefully things will get a little bit more exciting. I can pull up this screen and say on the very top right hand side, we are going to move around in the next couple streams. Not all the streams are going to be completely just text walls of things I have to talk about. Although if you would like to just listen to me talk, you're perfectly welcome to. Again, most of this is for me to constantly improve on myself, and maybe some of these things will really be relatable to you. And why don't we just get started? So on the bottom right hand side, bottom left hand side, wow, that was a long introduction and long talk. So the previous live stream, I believe I ended off at number 26, and I'm going to pull that to the side there so that at least you can have something to see. On the top right hand side, 26 stands for project. So on the left hand side, we had a lot of basics, and I can see some stuff here: having to health, having to take a shit, trying to deal with a calculator. There's a bit of humor now, so that's good. It means that I'm getting more comfortable with just not having to rush through everything. It depends. I'm still late for work. I know that there will be days where they won't be that great of a live stream, but whatever. I can see a lot of health issues on here. I was talking about cooking and arriving to work on time, and focusing on action and less on thoughts because I'm holding back. There's an interesting one here. Number 12 says dreams, and I talked about that in the previous. I remember that yesterday's live stream as well. So we're gonna jump back here. So 26, 25, we left off with the fitness. I had this sort of Excel spreadsheet I showed yesterday. It was a very poor resolution. Whatever, it's fine. 26. And that recorded my sleep cycles, what I was eating. It's kind of like a habit tracker, if you can think of it that way. But those things are not really effective unless you actually find a way to make it happen physically with your own body. You actually go and do it. And that was really largely just for me to collect data. With that being said, 26 focuses on, so that's where we're going to start today. New sub-series, task, kill spree. I already mentioned that actually yesterday. 27, decisions. So this is where I left off. Okay, health. So a major issue I've been having recently, and I have to be a little bit quick on my feet around this kind of stuff because every live stream is only 15 minutes long at max. So I noticed that the course of action of the way I would fall into my negative habits, into stress eating, binge eating, or just watching too many videos on the laptop, or any sort of just pleasure-seeking behaviors. I tried to note down the process that I've already been familiar with, but this is like the first time I'm talking about on stream. I'm noting the process down specifically. As opposed to just writing down to notepad and never making any sort of live stream on it. Long story short, happens somewhat like this. I would notice that my food binging would start after I have some sort of decision making process that I need to go through. So I have to decide on something, and then that bleeds into 33. So 27, 20, and 33 are tied together because I have to make a decision. Let's say I have to make a decision about what kind of content I'm going to create today, or what I have to bring to work today, or when I'm going to schedule my time with a business meeting with my partner. And I'm thinking through all this, and it's annoying because I have a time constraint at which, let's say, I have to decide and then send a text over to my business partner, work things out, or maybe I have to punch out this live stream, or maybe I just have to get to work because again I have to go to work. And then I watch the time, I see the time going down, and so there's an urgency, there's a time limit, a deadline, and I can't meet it, so that puts an intense amount of stress and pressure that I'm not managing well, and that leads me to then I notice, so first of all, the urgency, the limited time and urgency, applying that pressure to make a decision. So it's decision making, it's time constraints, and then not being able to make or trying to make that decision, and constantly getting bogged down by the confusion, having all these variables to play. It becomes I overthink the decision, and then with all that stress, that mental stress, which is completely my responsibility, I just end up defaulting and resorting to something like, I don't know, I would pick up a box of snacks over there and I just start munching it to kind of alleviate myself, kind of like instant gratification. I would notice that, and I remember when I was it's funny because when I was younger I was extremely disciplined. I realize now that back then the reason why I was disciplined was because I didn't have that much freedom at all. But so that's something I noticed, and that's something I've noted down here. And the prescription, I suppose, is to, if I'm to resist these sort of temptations, I mean, one way is to just remove those things, but obviously that's not happening very well. I would end up buying those things anyways. And so that's something I've noticed on 20 of any sort of particular detail. So I've noticed that maybe I'll just name, say, long-term care center or seniors home, but I won't say the organizational name. If I say friend, I'll say friend, but I won't say their name. That's just kind of basics kind of stuff. And I'll show a piece of paper, I'll show the paperwork, but it'll be turned over, no address. That's how I've been working mostly. And this is the first time I'm mentioning exactly how specifically I function with specifically to privacy. Okay, moving on. 29, project, education, process. Okay, capture and record. So having a process to capture everything. This has a lot to do with GTD by David Allen. So getting things done. So basically capture, record everything, and developing a 5 sensory system to record what I see, what I hear from a podcast, what I read, how I act. So it's just trying to develop a system to capture all my ideas and thoughts and everything in a systematic and organized fashion. Haven't gotten to that yet, but it's something that I should note down and follow up with. Most importantly, I have to follow up with each of these items. 37. Process, again, same thing here, but this one has to do with specifically dictation and transcription. So saying something on stream and then maybe having a program on the side that is able to transcribe everything that I say and then be able to manipulate that very easily into like a blog post or whatever. All right, so that's interesting. Some ideas here. Again, this all needs to be fleshed out. 30, feedback, follow-up, recommendation, system behavior. What's that talking about? Flow, I'm not, oh, right. So everything I have here is in text form. So, I mean, obviously we have to move about. Like I have to get up, right? I have to get up and actually do these things. I can't just talk about them. So the main challenge is, of course, changing theoretical knowledge into applicable practice, actually doing what you know. And so, maybe that involves having certain reminders by an alarm. Maybe it just means that you have something that locks certain applications, or maybe you just find the discipline in yourself to do it, or you set up a certain time frame, whatever it is, to make sure that you do what you know, as opposed to simply just knowing and then never making use of that knowledge. All right, so 31 to 32 and 52, all those were covered in yesterday's live stream. You can see the it's urgent, so I completed it yesterday. It was all the physical garbage that I had to get through. And so that's what I have, some more garbage today that we have to get through. So, but this is basically having some stuff with trash, garbage, packaging, and, happy birthday to one of my colleagues and the gift they gave. But that's yesterday. So we can skip to 33, 34, 35. Well, I want to stop right here right now for a second, because there's more stuff that's urgent today. And before I end this live stream, actually, I'm not going to move to 33. The next live stream, I want to focus a little bit on the urgent materials. So I want to cover some garbage right here. It's going to be some Wendy's, just fast food restaurant, as well as Tim Hortons, the receipts, some paper, garbage. We have a little bit of recyclables here, so ensure meal replacements. So I guess it's a little interesting. We're moving about at the very last moment. It'd be better if I did it at the beginning. And then finally, some mail as well from a banking institution and some paper. So that's what we're going to cover probably in the next 2 live streams. We'll see what happens. But this is marking the end. And so we'll continue this in about 10 minutes right here on my channel. Okay, see you soon.